Hey everybody, Season 10 is upon us, and that means everybody's rank is reset to 1. These battles are not going to be incredibly high skill, but I did manage to go 22-3 on my first day of Season 10, which I was very proud of myself for. I think after like the second or third set, I was put up against some pretty tough competition. So definitely after like the first 2 sets of each season, it kind of matches itself back up. So I'm going to be showing off my 4th and 5th sets. I'm actually only going to be showing 4 battles from the 4th set because I forgot to record one. This team is running Mandibuzz and Deoxys and Ferrothorn, and as you can see, this is the Snarl Mandibuzz mirror matchup. I'm going to speed this up twice as fast as I normally do. I normally do 150% speed, but for this I'm just going to do 300% just for the Mandibuzz mirror because I don't want to switch out. Ferrothorn and Deoxys don't have great matchups against Mandibuzz, and my opponent seems like he's not wanting to give up switch either, so I'm able to sneak a couple Snarls through, but I'm also trying to align my charge moves for CMP. So I am able to farm up a little extra, throw this aerial ace. Is this going to be enough to KO? It looks, oh my gosh, my opponent survives with 1 HP. So am I going to shield this? I'm going to shield this. My Mandibuzz doesn't have good PvP IVs. It's got 15 attack, 14 defense, 13 HP. So we'll be winning CMP every time, but not incredible for PvP. I might maybe save it for Ultra League later, but for now it's a Great League one. But I'm very glad that I got switch advantage here because my opponent has Jellicent in the back, and Jellicent has a really good matchup against Jellicent has a really bad matchup against Ferrothorn and a really good matchup against Deoxys, so I definitely needed to invest a shield to maintain switch, and it kind of makes sense. My opponent running Mandibuzz, he's probably weak to it in the back, especially since he's not switching, or he's got a Pokemon that's weak to it, and he ends up having Nidoqueen in the back. So I'm going to throw this Power Whip, and I think I'm going to stay in. Yeah, I'm going to stay in to throw another one. My opponent can throw a Poison Fang, it'd be fine, but looks like they're just going to be farming up a lot. But at this point, the win con that I'm seeing is come into Deoxys and get to 2 Psycho Boosts, and that would be the easiest method. So I'm going to get hit with the Poison Fang. I'm probably going to get hit with an Earth Power. Let's see if I'm able to survive. And I am. And the timer is up because that Mandibuzz matchup took so long, but I'm able to get 2 Psycho Boosts, just barely take out the Nidoqueen, get to the Psycho Boost on the Jellicent, and at this point it does not matter because I have 2 Pokemon left alive and the timer ran out. So first battle we have is a timer game, but we're able to sneak out a win. Getting into the second game, we have Noctowl. This is one of the new meta Pokemon. This thing received Shadow Ball and instead of Psychic, so a pretty good coverage move along with a normal type. So it's pretty good against the meta. I don't actually think that there's a single Pokemon in the game right now that resists both Sky Attack and Shadow Ball. I think like a Dark Steel type would, but that would be like a Bisharp, and you don't see that in the meta. So I'm gonna overfarm a little bit. I do get to these moves a little bit faster than Noctowl does, so I'm able to get to 2 Dark Pulses, and I'm gonna throw an Aerial Ace here because it's all that I need to take it out. My Mandibuzz is running Snarl, Aerial Ace, Dark Pulse, as you guys saw, I think in the last video, maybe it was 2 videos ago, but I keep the same moveset because I just think it's the best. So, because when you have Snarl, foul play is not really necessary, but you can run it for a little bit more spam. But, it's all down to personal preference. But I'm glad that my Mandibuzz was able to avoid seeing this Azu in the back. I have pretty good play against Azu, especially with my Ferrothorn, but Deoxys with Thunderbolt does have pretty good coverage too. And now the more that I think about it, this team is very similar to the one that I ran in my last video. I think the only difference is I have Ferrothorn instead of Nidoqueen. So, it kind of weighs itself out. You do need the fairy type coverage though, so you definitely need to be running a poison or a steel, and that is why I have a Ferrothorn in this lineup. I'm going to throw this Power Whip on the Diggersby. I also have a lot of play against Diggersby in the back, so this matchup is pretty dang near over, in my opinion. All I have to do is, well, wow, I actually let the Fire Punch go, but I was going to get Mudshot down, so very good awareness by my opponent knowing he could farm down, but I'm going to come into Deoxys. I throw the Psycho Boost, which I think was a pretty big misplay. Now I'm going to be able to get to this Thunderbolt, and I'm going to have to invest a shield and try and get to the Psycho Boost. Let's see if I'm able to sneak the counter through. I was experiencing a lot of lag in my battles today as well. The servers weren't super stable, but, you know, that's what you get when you have Niantic running the game and the new season started. I bet a lot of people are playing, so it makes sense that their servers aren't really able to hold up. Alright, getting into the next battle here. This Whiscash lead is kind of weird. It's a pretty good matchup because you're resisting all of the fast moves, or the fast moves, and Blizzard is doing super effective, but Mud Bombs aren't really going to be doing much damage at all. So I'm going to get to another Dark Pulse here, but it does end up being a CMP tie. This is a Mud Bomb because my opponent hasn't built up to a Blizzard yet, and I'm going to get this Dark Pulse off, and my opponent's going to let it go. So I think what I might do is go for the farm down. I think I'm going to go for the farm down here. Let's see if my opponent's able to get to another Mud Bomb. It would be enough to KO, and I make a big misplay here. I let the Mud Bomb go thinking that I could live it, and Whiscash is able to win the 0 by getting me into the yellow and throwing 3 Mud Bombs. And my opponent has Kofagrigus in the back, gonna hard counter my Deoxys, and he has Hitmonchan, which is gonna hard counter my Ferrothorn. So if I could have alignment the other way around, I'd have a neutral matchup against Kofagrigus, and then a very positive matchup against Hitmonchan with my Deoxys. So definitely should have invested a shield. Whatever my opponent came in with would have been getting hit by super effective damage, and I would have had 2 moves loaded, so I definitely threw this game. Should have won it, should have gone 23-2 on the day, but everybody makes mistakes. You can't expect yourself to always be perfect. So I definitely took this as a learning experience. If I'm going to commit to the farm down, I need to be okay with going down a shield. But I also really wasn't super focused in these battles. I was playing Bloons Monkey City and keeping up with the Seahawks game. I'm a very big Seahawks fan, if any of you guys didn't know, which I don't think I've said anything about it on my channel before, so probably nobody knew, but very big Seahawks fan. They're not actually doing very well right now. I'm recording this at about 10 p.m. right after doing these battles, and it is, I think, 17-9 with 3.5 minutes left, and I think Washington's about to kick a field goal, so this game is pretty much over. But this matchup against Ariados is pretty good. Oh, JD McKissick got carted off. That's why there was game stoppage. He's a good player. I hope he recovers from whatever is going on. But yeah, Ariados is a pretty good lead for this team. You definitely don't want to see it in the back. But, I mean, DD has an okay matchup against it. But let's see. My opponent's going to throw here, so I'm going to take shield advantage, and I'm going to try and farm down these double resisted counters with Deoxys. I shield up the launch. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my god, I'm able to farm down. Gonna pull an immediate switch here into Ferrothorn. If my opponent has a poison bug, then they're probably weak to grass, but you never know. My opponent has Azu and Sableye, so definitely should not have switched out of that Sableye matchup because Ferrothorn absolutely walls off Azumarill. The only thing you can even throw that does neutral damage is Ice Beam, and everything that I have is doing super effective damage. So I'm going to be able to throw this Power Whip. I'm actually going to undercharge it and try and farm all the way down. I'm even okay taking an Ice Beam here, but I don't even have to. And at this point, I can throw these Power Whips into Sableye. They're going to have to shield 1 because this does about 52% damage. And I can shield, I can get to the next Power Whip, and my opponent's going to have to shield this, and then I can come to DD. I have energy loaded on it, and I can just throw this Thunderbolt. So I'm actually going to farm up 1 more. Kind of made a little bit of a mistake, because if the Sableye threw... actually, I think it would have been okay. But, yeah, that's going to take the win. Mandibuzz did see a lot of pretty good leads today, so I did get a little bit fortunate with that. But there was also a couple not so great leads a little bit earlier in the day. I ended up going, since I went on 22-3, but the breakdown of my sets, I went 5-0, 5-0, and then I went 3-2 in my third set, and then I went 4-1 and 5-0. So 3-5-0 is pretty good. I mean, I would be a lot more ecstatic about it if it was at a higher ranking, but unfortunately, some people with less access to better Pokemon were being matched up against me, so it wasn't very fair. Anyways, getting back to this match, Medicham is very good for DD. I think my opponent had Kofagrigus in the lead, and safe swapped Medi. Yeah, he's going to pull switch back into Kofagrigus, and I accidentally throw the Psycho Boost here. I definitely should have banked this for later on in the match, because it could come back to be crucial, but since I have Mandibuzz aligned with Kofagrigus, it should not matter at all. My opponent's just going to throw Psychics at me. I think he's fishing for the defense drop. But at this point, I'm going to farm up to 100 energy and throw a Dark Pulse. I'm actually going to undercharge this so I can farm it all the way down. I'm very comfortable taking another move because all he can throw at me is resisted Shadow Ball or double resisted Psychic. He's really fishing for the defense drop. He does get the defense drop, so, you know, it's pretty okay for my opponent. But now we have another Mandibuzz mirror. I'm just going to throw off these Aerial Aces. These Air Slashes are going to do a chunk because my defense fell and they are neutral instead of resisted Snarls. So I think during this game I was thinking like these air Slashes are doing a lot more than they normally should, but it was because my defense had fallen and I don't think I noticed. So my opponent tries to catch a move on Medicham, isn't able to. I am going to throw these Thunders because I don't know if my opponent's going to shield the first one. He does shield the first one. And at this point, it's a lot safer to go straight Thunder. There's really no way that my opponent is going to be getting to a move 1 turn before me and, you know, flipping the game like that, because I do have a Mandibuzz in the back with a lot of health and energy, and then I have DD in the back, and DD has a tiny bit of energy. So I'm going to build up to this Thunder. I actually build up to the Thunder and the Power Whip at the same time. So I'm going to throw this Thunder and then switch into Mandibuzz, and that should seal the deal. This Aerial Ace will KO, and I will take home another dub. GG. So this last set, this was my 5th set of the day. This was another 5-0, and I did have a lot of good leads in this set, but you know, there were also a couple safe swaps here and there where I did really kind of have to think, especially in that Ariados matchup. I definitely should have strategized a little better in the Whiscash lead, but I wasn't really thinking. I wasn't very focused while I was doing these battles, so, you know, definitely could have won, probably, maybe 24, definitely could have won 23, though. My opponent is going to shield up this Dark Pulse, and I don't like that call because I can just farm up some extra energy and throw off this Dark Pulse, and this will be taking out the Sableye. But he actually invests another shield, and at this point I have another move loaded. This Aerial Ace is going to be coming through. It's going to take out the Sableye, and this game has just been flipped on its head. There's really nothing my opponent can do except for try and farm up some energy with Azumarill, try and get ahead. But I have Ferrothorn in the back, so this game is basically over. My opponent has to have like another ghost type in the back, but okay, yeah, Skarmory, and I have Thunderbolt on Deoxys, so this game is really over now. My Sableye, Azu, and Skarmory, I have all three of these Pokemon now. I just finished building my XL Sableye during that Spotlight Hour, I think on Saturday. Might have been Sunday, but I think it was on Saturday. And I was able to get a ton of Stardust, was able to get a lot of Sableye candies and XL candy, and now I have a 1498 Sableye that has like 13, 13, 11 or 14, 14, 12 as its stats. It's really not that great, but it didn't require too many XL candies, so that's why I went ahead and went with it. Definitely could have found a little bit better of an IV1, but you know, that's okay. So Lickitung lead, pretty solid. Mandibuzz is resisting the licks, and everything else is neutral. But my opponent safe swaps into Azu, and really in the Open Great League, Azu is not much of a safe swap. Because, you know, there's a lot of grass types, there's a couple electric types running around. There's, what else beats Azu? Some steel types if you're not running Hydro. But, you know, Azu, it could be a safe swap in some situations, but if you end up encountering a grass type, you are basically screwed. So, another reason I have Ferrothorn on this team is it's a pretty good core breaker for some teams. You know, it's resisting all of Lickitung's charge moves. Pairing it with Mandibuzz gives a lot of coverage. Mandibuzz kind of covers for the fighting weakness a little bit. It neutralizes the fire weakness, so at least gives you some play, even though there's not a lot of fire types in the meta. So it's pretty solid. And then Deoxys in the back is just a great generalist in this meta. Definitely beats Pokemon like Medicham, which has the fighting type, and Deoxys is just the psychic type, so you're able to resist the psychics, and Ice Punch is a pretty weak move. Able to hit my opponent with neutral Thunderbolts. My opponent shields here, and what I'm actually going to do is build up a little bit extra, throw the Psycho Boost. My opponent catches, and that's okay, because I can farm up a little bit extra. Actually, okay, yeah, I'm going to shield. I could have maybe let that go and just put it all on Mandibuzz, but this game is basically wraps, so do not have to worry too much. Can tank this Body Slam like a champ. Actually going to build up to 2 moves. I'm going to throw an Aerial Ace if my opponent lets it go. I just have to farm up to 2 Aerial Aces. If my opponent shields, I can just dump that one off and farm up to an extra one. But at this point, 1, 2, 3, I should be at 2 Aerial Aces right here. Going to be able to, going to let whatever move comes through go, because I can shield up the next one. I do overfarm just a little bit just to make sure I'm at 2 moves. And going to shield up the Ice Punch. I overfarm again, really wasn't paying attention in some of these battles, but gonna throw an Aerial Ace, and at this point I definitely have another one, so that is gonna be taking out the Medicham. So this was the last battle. You guys will see the 5-0 here in a second, but I just want to say thank you guys for the recent support. I've kind of been having to upload at a consistent rate for my videos to get views, but I appreciate you guys for sticking with me. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.